once again, everyone, and welcome to another video for Mr. Game and Whisper. Today I will be showing you a few clips from a new game I just got the other day called Watch Dogs. I'll be playing it for the PlayStation 4. This was a very highly anticipated game. It was announced a couple of years ago, and a lot of gamers have been very excited for it to come out. Unfortunately, it was constantly held back. Again and again, I think it had maybe 2 times where it was postponed or delayed. But a lot of people can get upset about something like that, but I feel that if a game still needs work, then take the time to do it, because we might be anxious to purchase the game and play it, but if they release it when they said they would, and it turns out that it needed a lot more polish, then we are simply left with a game that just isn't very good. So I'd rather wait and make sure that the game is as good as it can be. As you can see here, it plays very similarly to a game sort of like Grand Theft Auto. It's an open world. It takes place in real world Chicago, and you are a character that is a hacker, kind of a close to middle-aged person, a man, who is basically a vigilante, and you can choose sort of how kind of good or bad you are. Now the cops are after you pretty much no matter what you do, because even if you're doing good, vigilantism is still against the law. Now in this universe of Chicago, there is a sort of, I guess, government implemented system. There's still much about it that I'm learning, but it's called the CTOS, I believe, or something like that, and it's basically an operating system that reaches throughout the entire city. Like, everything is connected, basically. I mean, there are cameras all over the city. There are, and so basically the government or whoever's in charge has the ability to kind of look into all your cameras and all of your cell phones and just about anything, really. I mean, everything is basically connected onto one network. That's basically it. And you are a character named Aiden, I believe, and he is a hacker and is very, very good at just kind of like hacking into things very quickly and efficiently, very fluidly. And thanks to the CTOS, he now basically has access. I mean, he can just hack into just about anything because it's all connected. It's all connected. So just by using his cell phone alone, he can hack into the street lights, he can hack into people's cell phones, he can hack into their cameras, he can hack into car alarms. I mean, you name it, he can pretty much do it. He can even cause blackouts in the city if you're being chased by criminals or police or something. You have the opportunity at some points to kind of black out the city, and it makes it much more difficult for them to find you. Now, I've played this game for many hours already, actually, and it's amazing because I've hardly touched the campaign at all. Side mission, there's so many side missions to unlock, and I usually go searching for them if they're available first, because that way I can kind of, maximize my perks or maximize my abilities before I kind of get going further into the story. I choose to play about as good as I can. You'll see in some instances where I might jack a car, but it's kind of necessary to do that. But I do my best not to hurt any civilians or even cops. If I'm being chased by a whole bunch of cops, I have the ability to just plow right through them if I need to, but I do my best to. I kind of have what some people might call a virtual, I kind of have like a conscience, a virtual conscience, and I almost always hate playing the bad guy or doing things as badly as I can, even if it makes the game easier to do. I try to be the best person that I can. Now, Aiden has a lot of extreme circumstances, where in this instance, obviously, I needed a vehicle, so I took the vehicle, but I made sure that the man that I took it from was unarmed, and these cops are chasing me, and you have the ability cars on the sides have the green light and they come driving through, and it usually causes an accident. Now you're probably thinking, well, that doesn't sound very good. Like, that doesn't sound like you're being such an angel after all. But, you know, I try my best not to personally shoot or kill anyone in this game. But sometimes you gotta crack a few eggs to make your omelet, I suppose. Now, you've seen that I've kind of transitioned through a few different clips of just different missions. I think pretty much all these have been side missions, and there's so many different side missions that you can do. In the end, I mean, they're all pretty similar to one another. I mean, they're kind of categorized, but there's still tons of different ones that you can do, and even the ones that are in the same category become kind of more and more difficult, or add different obstacles to them to make them feel a little more fresh, I suppose. But then again, I've only been playing this game a few hours, so it's possible it could get old pretty fast. In this instance, what I'm doing is I'm hacking into some sort of network that has multiple destinations, has multiple points in it, and I have to kind of get through the security of each point in order to obtain some sort of audio file or something like that. So all the while the police are actually chasing me. I think I escaped them, except for this moment right here where I shoot this gas tank. Then the police know where I am, so they start coming after me again. So yeah, there's just many things you can do. The missions that I was doing beforehand were delivery missions where I was taking a designated vehicle and dropping it off somewhere. And yeah, there's just different things you can do. I think this entire video will be for just sort of side missions. I hardly ever touch the campaign on this game, honestly. If I have literally nothing else to do, then I'll go to an actual campaign mission. But even on my way to a campaign mission, something always comes up for me to do, for me to try. And it's actually really cool. Now, one thing that this game does that maybe some other games might do, but most games that focus on driving, I cannot understand how long we have gone with video games that center around driving, where there's no indication on the road where it is you're going. You can only look at the mini map on the bottom screen. You can see on my mini map the highlighted route that I'm taking. Almost every game that focuses around driving will have that mini map, but then there's no indication on the actual road where it is you need to go. So you have to constantly be looking down, up and down, up and down, up and down at that mini map, at the screen, at the mini map, at the screen. And it just gets so frustrating. In this game gets it right. They put that path when you have a waypoint that you make. It puts a path on the road for you to follow, and it's glorious. Now this is an interesting thing that I came across. It's called a memory, I think, and you literally come and you look at something and it kind of gives you a flashback. Oh, maybe it's called a flashback actually. But so this is apparently a flashback, very sort of digital noir flashback. And that's Aiden driving in a tunnel, and these guys come out of nowhere, looking really badass apparently. And I can only imagine that's Aiden's child in the back. Now this is actually a clip that I've seen before, because there are times where you go to sleep in the game. You can save your progress by finding a hideout and sleeping. And in some instances, probably depending on how much you've progressed in the game, you'll have dreams. And so I've actually seen this very same clip, only it had dialogue in it as well. So Lena Pierce, that's I'm assuming that's Aiden's daughter. It hasn't actually been revealed yet as far as I've played it, but it's a pretty safe assumption that now it didn't seem that his wife was in the car, so I'm not really sure if she is still alive, or if they're, you know, if she's still alive and they're no longer together, or what the problem is. But the story basically is centered around him trying to find out who caused that accident. And at the very, very beginning of the game, that man that caused the accident there, you actually are confronting him at the very beginning of the game, and you kind of take care of him. You try to get information out of him as to who gave him the order, because he hacked into a phone call or somehow managed to later because eventually a side mission will actually pop up and you can switch the waypoint to that side mission. That happens very, very frequently in this game, so I spend a lot of time on my way to do something, and before I even get there, or by the time I get there, something else comes up for me to do, and I choose, well, I have to make the choice. What do I do? Do I keep going, or do I do a side mission, basically? And I almost always choose a side mission because all you do is gain experience or gain something from it. That will definitely help you progress in the story, so you might as well. And most of the time you're not really going out of your way, especially when one pops up. It's very rarely very far from where you are at that current time. So yeah. I find the controls driving just a bit stiff. You kind of get used to it. It's a little bit of a learning curve, but for a game that focuses heavily on driving, I wish they were a little looser. Maybe I'm just used to Grand Theft Auto or actual driving games, but it certainly seems that way. But you get used to it. That's fine. So you may have noticed just there on the right side a moment ago, a side mission popped up, and I okayed it. I confirmed it, and now I'm on my way to it. And what it is a possible crime in progress, which I love to do because it kind of helps me to gain a good reputation as opposed to a bad reputation with the city. So on my minimap, you'll see kind of a bluish triangle there. That's the area in which I have to search for where the crime might be taking place, who might be committing it, or who it might be committed to. So, oh, this is another cool thing where you can hack into cameras. And you can see there's just different things. Even from the cameras, I can hack there, and it would explode. So, you can see that the man that I have highlighted there, it says potential victim, and his percentage is going up because he's putting himself in a dangerous situation, or a dangerous situation is on his way to find him. Now the problem here is you can't be spotted too early. You want to intervene, but you can't intervene too early because if the crime hasn't been committed yet, then you're not technically doing anything good. And either the victim will get wise to you and be kind of upset that you're spying on him, or you'll scare the perpetrator off before he actually causes a crime, and you'll basically fail the side mission. Now, I could shoot, but I don't like to shoot if I absolutely don't need to. He's not shooting at me, so I just tackle him, beat him down with my awesome nightstick, and that is that. And then I get Buko bucks because not only did I neutralize the criminal, but I also saved the victim. The victim was not in any way harmed, and I gained a good reputation. So the city will start to like me, the people will start to like me. Definitely required some good XP there, and some skill points. This is your skill tree. But anyway, we'll see you next time, guys. Thanks for watching another video.